Hello everyone, this is Enzo Hagen of the Alliance for Loki, and this is war number 3. So we were 0-2 going into this war looking for our first win of the season. So I'm on path 6 and then 4. This first fight on path 6 I'm always worried about just because Aggression Fury. Aggression Fury is one of those nodes that just strikes fear into me because of the just they can ramp up their damage so quick, even hitting into the blocks. And so I put a combat region boost on just because I know I'm going to be blocking a lot at the beginning just to build up my temperature. And so I figured I might as well try to offset any damage. Immediately I did special. That was terrible. It's not a special heavy. You know, whenever you're playing sort of like the block style with Human Torch, I sometimes get lulled into not being aware as I need to with the heavy, and there it is again. So 2 heavies in a row, not a very good start. Again, it's crazy with Human Torch. I have my flame on, as you saw, and get hit again with the SP2. Luckily, of course, the what you call it does very low damage, and now he's really killed himself. I think I've hit him like 4 times this entire fight. And so, luckily, Human Torch is so good against Mystics that that's usually all it takes. And yeah, that's the end of this fight. I would say I played extremely poor, and just luckily the matchup was so good that I was able to win. So first fight down. The next fight on this path, I don't worry about too much. It's the one with the power alternator. I have Vision though, and Vision's on a 20-second cycle with his synthesis, and I think the power alternator is like a 15-second cycle. So it actually makes it pretty easy to deal with this. I go in quick just because I still have the the boost active, so I figure I might as well take advantage of that and try to any little bit of damage I would take blocking. Hopefully you can keep most of it healed from the potion at the beginning. And so yeah, this fight is very straightforward. I mean, I'm not really worried too much about him. I can parry him, just watching the power alternator, just trying to make sure that if he gets close for me, I can throw my special here. I totally miss it and he gets my power, but that's okay because I can either bait out his SP1, which I do, or I could have just waited for the synthesize, which happens here anyway. And so here I'm not worried at all. I get a little cheeky intercept, managed to get my SP2 off before it goes to the SP3, which is always so much preferable. Such a huge difference in power. And yeah, the fight is very good. And so I'm pretty happy. You know, again, the paths have been feeling pretty simple these days in war since it hasn't changed so much. And so yeah, I'm don't ever really feel stressed or worried about this fight at all. And so yeah, and yeah, of course, Vision's not exactly the hardest hitter, so it goes on for a while, but there it is, and I have hardly taken any damage. So of course, that's my first fights. I always do those at night, and now we're off to the next morning. So the next morning, I'm now on path 4, which is a very typical path for me, and I have Silver Surfer. I assume he plays Silver Surfer here because if he throws a heavy, puts those 3 armor breaks, which would make him unblockable. Of course, Doom can't be armor broken, so this just seems like a very trivial fight. And so I'm again not at all worried about this fight. And Doom's so powerful anyway in war, and he has class advantage and power control, and I have Mystic Dispersion on. It seems very overmatched. And so of course I go in and just planning to, you know, obviously just sort of typical Doom style, and there I get hit right away, and yeah, I have not been playing well, and then I rush in and try to hit into his phase, which could have got to me absolutely beaten, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like my focus has not been great on war this season. I've been getting hit a lot. The Human Torch fight, and there was another Human Torch fight in the war that I didn't record, that didn't go very well, that I probably should have died in. And so, yeah, it's just one of these things where I feel like we're all a little bit complacent right now in our fights. And so I get to the SP3. Of course, he's getting a lot of power, but you know, Doom's gonna be able to deal with his power gain very easily, and it's just like pretty incredible damage. I mean, he's already halfway down, and I'm gonna go through the Doom cycle, and once you go through the Doom cycle, of course, drain all of his power and get all of his power back. And so I know he's immune to Incinerate, so I don't really want to throw my SP2 that I probably could end it, but I'm already at an SP3. I mean, Mystic Dispersion just absolutely feeds him so much power in this fight. And this fight is yeah, for a tier 1 war fight, I mean, this fight is incredibly trivial. And that's the end of that. And so I have my final fight, a fight I've done many times. I've never died to at all. It's this Vision versus Havoc fight. There has actually been a few times I've gotten in trouble. Like, the reason why you place Havoc here is because as he gets his plasma charges on him, he can put plasma charges on you, which of course are debuffs, and then after 3 of them they go unblockable. They don't expire, and even worse, if they get to 10, then they do a huge amount of damage. And so, yeah, I mean, this fight usually is very straightforward with Vision, and I haven't had any problems with it. I took it the last war too, so again, feeling very confident, thinking, oh, this is a very easy fight. The one thing I've noticed is that, of course, every time you do a critical hit, there's a chance that he gains a plasma charge. And so I always want to be careful. I always want to power drain him and keep his power charges really low. And so here I drain him immediately, keep his power charges low. I don't know, I feel like that was maybe the first mistake I made, is maybe throwing that special really quick. So now you can see he's at 8. And so I'm really worried because I don't want him to get any more power. And fine, I drain it, okay, or any more plasma charges, and so it's back to normal. And once again, he gains quite a bit. I crit a lot, which is exceptional. And because I crit a lot, I decided, oh, I'm just going to parry him, throw my special. And I did there, and I missed. And now I'm in huge trouble. He throws his SP1. I'm just not paying attention. I'm so concerned about the plasma charges. And then he's at 10. And I managed to drain him, but in the time he puts on 5 because he had sort of the advanced plasma charge boost from his SP1, and oh, I'm in huge trouble. So it's unblockable now. I'm just trying to like hold it together. You know, I don't want to get the plasma detonate. I get hit because I'm trying to intercept and totally miss the intercept again. But you know, he throws a heavy, luckily, which is great because I can counter that, and I then end up throwing an SP3 just because I've gotten out of the rhythm. And the SP3, unfortunately, is not going to drain enough power. Like if it was the SP2, I would have totally drained all of his power. And now I'm of course worried about him throwing the SP1, get another intercept. And so yeah, I'm feeling like, okay, maybe I'll pull this out. I'm a little worried because I don't want to try the intercept with the bar power, but I go ahead and do it. Trying to bait it out, and foolishly I went in there and tried to intercept him with the bar power. I got caught by the SP1. Still didn't die, but then in the end he caught me again. It's like one of those fights I wish I could redo. So even if he got in the 5 bars of power, I could have done it a little bit different. Could have hit to his block and kept on waiting to get synthesized, and either tried to dex his SP2 maybe, or hold my block a lot. I don't know. I definitely started playing pretty erratically, just trying those crazy intercepts at the end, and that definitely didn't work. There's just too many intercepts I had to string together in order to get him down. But oh, I'm really unhappy. That's my first death of the season, and first death in 2 seasons. And so, yep, that's the end of the deathless streak for this war. Just, yeah, this fight is that special 2. 2 things. Yeah, definitely missing that special 2 was the cause. And that fight's one of those fights where, again, it's one of those things where it doesn't take much to go wrong in war, and then you're in really difficult positions. So yeah, overall, unfortunately, we did again lose this war. We just aren't playing well enough. We're always above 5 deaths, which does not do it in Masters Alliance. You know, I think at this point, you know, we're going to try to really hard to right ourselves and make sure we're at least in Masters, and try to make sure we start getting some victories. It's just been a tough war season. We've had these war seasons before, though, where we've lost several at the beginning and just had to squeak into Masters. I mean, you know, so many seasons that we've played now, 26 of them, that of course, you know, they're always different every year, and some are every season. Some will be really good, some will be really bad. Sometimes we'll be invincible, sometimes we will struggle, and this is just one of those struggling seasons. And so it's okay. I have a lot of faith. We're all such good players. You know, I think it just takes a little bit of wake up to get us back playing well together. And yeah, hopefully the next war will be a victory, and then I'm sure I'll see you soon on that with another video. So take care, everyone. Bye-bye.